So Rick and Morty drops in 2013, and it's these shorts which are a parody of Back to the Future. Other influences on Rick and Morty are Doctor Who, clearly, Douglas Adams through A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and just kind of horror in general, including H.P. Lovecraft and David Cronenberg, cosmic horror and body horror. So in 1992, this fantasy comedy called Stay Tuned is released, and it is a box office bomb. And also it failed critically. It's actually got a pretty solid cast. John Ritter, Pam Dauber, who had been in Mork and Mindy, Eugene Levy, comedy all-star, and a guy who we won't mention his name because we don't talk about him anymore. So the premise of this movie is that John Ritter is kind of this couch potato. He sits around and watches too much TV, and someone shows up at his house and offers a deal with a new satellite that he can't turn down. And it turns out that the person who's installing the satellite is actually an agent of Satan. And the satellite, what it does is it pulls you into it, and then you're forced to participate in the programming. The satellite dish gets 666 channels. First of all, that should have been a cue there. And the programming is trying to kill you. So if you can survive the programming, I think it's 24 hours, then you get to live. But if the shows kill you, then your soul will go to Satan. Super dark premise, right? So what does this have to do with Rick and Morty? So in the movie, every channel they go to kind of represents an alternate reality of our own. Before he gets sucked into the satellite, yeah. John Ritter's watching this and he's like, well, these programs look familiar, but there's something a little off about them. So ostensibly, this couple is jumping from one dimension through another through the form of this twisted television programming. So long before we had this concept of the multiverse in pop culture, this movie was kind of depicting a twisted, horrific multiverse, including some elements of body horror. At one point, they find themselves in an ultra-violent version of a Tom and Jerry cartoon where they become cartoon mice. And Eugene Levy's character, who decides to try to help them, he ends up getting, without giving any detail, kind of physically mutilated. But looking at this movie through a modern-day lens, the characters really are going through a multiverse very similar to what you see in Rick and Morty. By the way, I don't think Dan Harmon, the creator of Rick and Morty, was influenced by this movie. I kind of looked at it and see anything indicating that. I don't know if anybody even remembers this movie, but it would be pretty interesting if he had seen it and it had left some impression on him.